The old Keller's IGA closed in 2011, leaving the entire Clifton community without a grocery. This was especially a hardship for the elderly and disabled residents of the densely populated Ludlow business district surrounding the old IGA site. The neighborhood had taken on food desert qualities, with the two nearest grocery stores being a little over a mile away from the dense population center, which is the classification of a food desert, according to Bulak, Christensen, and Cummins, is when the dense population center is more than a mile away from the nearest full-service grocery. In 2012, planning began for a replacement grocery. Many ideas were kicked around. A popular one among community members was to try to get a Trader Joe's put into that spot, but Trader Joe's didn't go for it. This was probably partly due to the amount of work that the building needed. The building's owner, Gessling, began work in 2013 to rehab the building for human inhabitants. I think he did this to fetch a better price for the property. At this point, it was still uncertain what the building would be used for. So the owner, Gessling, began fixing structural damage and addressing asbestos abatement. The idea of a co-op won out among the development team as the best use of the space, and a board of directors was formed that year. The co-op idea won out partly due to the feeling that it would be the quickest, easiest way to raise enough money to rehabilitate and retrofit the building with sustainable, energy-efficient equipment. They needed to raise at least half of the total cost and demonstrate that they had the support of the community in order to secure bank loans to cover the rest of the $6.2 million project. By the end of 2013, they had begun selling shares to members of the surrounding community. Many shareholders also made small to medium-sized loans to the development team for the project. Attempts to obtain loans from the city were thwarted by Mayor John Cranley, who, despite the support of a majority of city council members, vetoed first a $550,000 loan and later a $400,000 grant from the city. Charles Markson, the field director, was brought into the project in 2014, which is right when the project really started to take shape. They had quickly raised enough money exclusively from community shareholders to make a bid on the building. They were in a fight, however, because the building's owner at that time was being courted by outside developers who thought they had a better plan for the space. These would-be absentee landlords would have torn down the historic building to build a tower with retail spaces at street level, a couple of levels of parking to serve the whole business district, and several floors of upscale condominiums. The motive was profit. Much in the same way that they had a few decades before, to prevent the old Esquire movie theater from being torn down to build a giant fast food chain, the CTM group, the Clifton Town Meeting Group, which is the town council for this neighborhood, led by Marilyn Highland, both in the Esquire campaign and the more recent Clifton Market campaign. Marilyn Highland is the director of the board of the Clifton Market. They fought tooth and nail to prevent developers from forever altering the culture and character of the neighborhood, the business district up there, which is primarily made up of independent small businesses, and there really aren't any big corporate chains up there. City Council minutes from April 7th, 2014 display the motion put forward by Vice Mayor David Mann, longtime Clifton resident. The City Council, in the end, agreed to regulate the IGA property for its best use as a grocery store in that location, protecting it from the outside developers coming in and tearing it down. Once bank loans were secured, the location was officially community shareholder property for the purpose of producing Clifton Market. Thanks.